Good morning, welcome to All Things Kayaking. This is Jason Madden. This is my first video made for YouTube. I want to show you this here barge going up the river real quick here because we're going to be talking about it briefly. This is the Big Sandy River. She goes between West Virginia and Kentucky. She's fairly narrow for a river, so it'll go along with what I'm explaining about the barges here shortly. Well, here we are, basic kayak. You know, if you're watching this video, hopefully you're either looking to get into kayaking or you're already into it and you're just on YouTube searching around to see what there is. I'm going to explain some basics here. There's multiple types of kayaks, but we're going to be going over what we call a recreational kayak today. These kayaks are wider, more stable, they're slower in the water. This is a sit-in. You have sit-on tops, which we'll cover in later videos. But right now, the importance of what I want to tell you, recreational kayaks are made for flat waters, lakes, slow-moving, lazy rivers. Well, we've had a lot of rain, so this river is definitely not slow-moving, and it's a little rough. So you'll have to forgive me today. But this is a Pelican kayak. As you can see, it's a Trailblazer 100 NXT. I don't understand. I want you to watch these waves come in. See how rough these is? Well, in your narrow waterways, when you have barge activity, those waves get rougher. And I'll explain to you, when you're out in your kayak, you never want to be parallel when the waves coming in off the wakes, because this could cause your kayak to, you know, it's going to beat it around, slap you around. You may not capsize it. So in a situation like this, the best thing for this is you want to turn your kayak perpendicular to the waves coming in. That way the water is coming up against the bow of the kayak and you're just kind of hopping over them and riding them. You're not necessarily getting slapped around like it would be if it was hitting the whole side of the kayak. Again, now, if you're a beginner and you've never purchased, never owned your own kayak, it's fairly inexpensive to get started. It is a fun sport. The way I got started is when I was on my honeymoon, me and my wife, we rented a couple kayaks and went out on a lake. Well, I just absolutely fell in love with it. So, being the impulsive person I am, I really didn't do any research. I just ran out and bought one. Well, I've been out on the water, running into different types of conditions, a little rougher water, calmer waters, cooler temperatures, because it is cold today. It's 42 degrees, got a breeze blowing, rain's supposed to be gone. But anyhow, if you haven't purchased your first kayak yet, get online, watch these videos. There's all kinds of videos. And remember, this is All Things Kayaking. If you're interested in this video, hit the like button. If you want to see videos, there's plenty more to come. Hit the subscribe button. But I'm going to go over some basic equipment here to start with. Right here, all the way to your left, is my hydration pack. It has a 2-liter pouch in it for water, and then it has a tube comes out that lays over your shoulder so you can just reach over and get a drink at any time. Next is my full face hood that prevents, you know, cold weather, wind blowing coming in. It's pretty nice. And then I have my gloves. And then in this bag here, I have a fairly heavy duty line jacket. This is, you know, it's got a good hood. It's for when I get out and it starts raining. I've been out for an hour and a half at a time in a steady rain, and with this coat on, I personally never got wet, not a drop. And in this, if you're like me, starting out, or if you even take it, is your phone. This is a waterproof case that your phone slides into. And it floats. It's very buoyant. And forgive me, I might stutter, stumble around. Like I said, this is my first video. And here on the ground, which slid off on me, is our PFD, personal flotation device. Now, I have to express, this is very, very, very important. You never get on the water. I don't care how flat the water is. I don't care whether you're in a lake, a pond, whatever. You never get on the water without your PFD on. Reason being is if for some reason you'd fall out of your kayak, if you would capsize your kayak, you may have to be able to swim back to shore while dragging your kayak, because if your kayak gets filled with water, it's not going to sink all the way, which I'll explain to you why, and I'll explain to you why not to make some modifications, because if you see, I have made a few towards the front of the kayak. But always wear your PFD. Always. Now this kayak, I got this kayak at Dick's Sporting Goods. It was on sale for $179, but its regular price is $199. Now you can see the little styrofoam things in the straps. This works great. I've hauled this thing all over the place. I've been out on the freeway, 70, 75 mile an hour. I've never had a problem with it. This kit costs $34, again, at Dick's Sporting Goods. Not advertising for Dick's Sporting Goods, just telling you where you may go. You have Dunham Sports. Walmart even has a lot of equipment for kayaking. Kayaking is a big sport. A lot of people's getting into it these days. But $179, $34, $8 for my hydro pack, $10 for my hood, around $50 for the PFD, $15 for the glove. Believe it or not, I got my jacket at a secondhand store for $10. Your phone case, good one's gonna run you around 20. This is not a good one. It ran me around $6. So, we're going to pause for a second. I'm gonna unload the kayak, show you some things around the inside of the kayak, get you a little more familiar with it, and then we'll put her in the water and see where we go from there. Be back in just a sec. Here we are back. It literally took me less than 5 minutes to unload this kayak. Kayak weighs approximately 36, 38 pounds, somewhere, give or take. I can grab it with both hands, lift it up, put it right on top, strap it down, unstrap it. That's kayak. It's 10 foot, which is pretty much your standard recreational kayak. You have these straps, this little pocket here to put some things. It's where I store my jacket. If I'm going on long trips, I have a backpack that I store in there that I carry extra clothes. You know, just kind of be prepared in case it gets stuck out. You have a seat. This particular kayak, it has this padding here. Most of your kayaks will have some sort of back, and they're adjustable. This kayak, like I said, has this bottom seat. Not all recreational kayaks have that, especially the cheaper ones. Some have, if you look up in there, you see the foot pedals. Some have adjustables. This one just has multiple positions within the kayak itself instead of being able to adjust it. That's for stability, and also when you're paddling, that helps transfer your power from your legs up into your torso and in your arms, where you get your strength when paddling, and speed. Now, a couple modifications are set I made. I like to set sometimes when I get somewhere and just relax, look at the beauty, because it's one of the reasons why we kayak. The waters are like the railways. You get to see things you cannot see from the highway. So I put these little paddle holders on here. You know, got this stuff at Royal King. Little brackets in the hardware, $5.60. Some of your kayaks, they'll come with a little divot, just a little divot in there for you to lay your paddle in. That's okay, but you can still kick it out fairly easy. Of course, your paddles float, but you gotta try to reach for it. It's kind of aggravating. So I wanted this where it was a little higher, a little harder to kick out. And then right here, you can see, this is your basic phone holder for your car. Okay, about this Walmart's 15 bucks, $14.87 to be exact. I mounted that to the front, and this will be how I'll be filming our trip today, which I plan on heading upriver about an hour and then turning around and coming back. There'll be times that I'll pause, that way you're not trying to watch a 2-hour video, but the video won't be of best quality, and once we get started you most likely won't see me. You'll hear me talking, but my phone will be in the waterproof pouch at all times, and it does film fairly clearly through it. But what I was saying about modifications, right here, starting right here, you have 2 styrofoam blocks that go back this way. This compartment is all sealed. It's filled with air. Well, if your cockpit of your kayak would get filled with water due to waves or capsize, the boat won't fully sink because the styrofoam and this compartment back here being concealed with air will keep it buoyant. If you do any modifications, if you drill any hose back here, mount anything from here back, you're going to lose that air, and your kayak's no longer going to be buoyant. So if you capsize, fill her full of water, she's sinking all the way to the bottom. So any modifications from here forward, perfectly fine. Modifications from here backwards, I suggest you not to do it unless you believe you're never going to capsize, and you will capsize at some point. So we're going to be putting her in the water here in just a second. There'll be another pause, and after we get in the water, I'll turn it back on. We're going to head upstream. Current's a little rough, paddling might be a little hard. Should be a fun ride back down, but this is your basic kayaking for beginners. Recreational kayak, sort of basic gear for when you're just staying close to civilization or staying close to your car or truck, you know, but these are your essentials for the most part. In my bag I have a couple granola bars in case I end up getting hungry, need something to eat real quick, get a little energy, full protein. But here we go. We're gonna get ready to get the boat in the water and head upstream. Be back in just a minute.